In the headlines, officials meet to address student transportation following PSV accident. Kudos for the judicial system for the work being done to deal with praedial larceny. A St. Peter man on firearm charges remanded. And in sports, police called in to investigate an extraordinary type of vandalism at the Whitehall Football ground.
The Headline News is brought to you by National Transformation Initiative, shaping the Star Bajan.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tisha Hines with the details to the news. Days after a public service vehicle carrying school children overturned, key stakeholders met to discuss the issue of student transportation in Barbados. The meeting was held at the Barbados Transport Authority, and in attendance were Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works, Santia Bradshaw, and Minister of Educational Transformation, Chad Blackman. Also present were Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw, Chief Operations Officer at the Transport Board, Linda Holder, and representatives of the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, or AOPT, among other officials. Dr. Archer Bradshaw says the discussions focused on identifying and implementing practical student-centered solutions to improve the transportation experience for children across the island.
Emphasis was placed on the importance of interagency collaboration to ensure that students travel safely, reliably, and respectfully on our roads. A key outcome of the discussions was a zero-tolerance stance by both the Ministry of Educational Transformation and the Ministry of Transport and Works regarding dangerous driving practices by public service vehicle operators. There was also full support for the dedicated school bus service. Additionally, tangible initiatives are being developed to address and reduce instances of student misbehavior while using public transportation.
Meanwhile, the AOPT's Director of Public Communications and Public Affairs, Mark Haynes, says the Alliance is in full agreement with some of the solutions discussed at the meeting and is looking forward to further discussions.
The meeting agreed in principle. There should be no further procrastination. There should be enhancement of what we have, enhancement of the enforcement of the law. This is very critical in meeting. Same time I've always been saying in public, enforcement is the issue, not that of regulation, not that of the law. It is the enforcement, and therefore it's imperative that the government of Barbados creates that kind of enforcement unit and give that unit the same powers that can be given to the Royal Barbados Police Force.
And we're also hearing tonight that there has been an increase in complaints against public service vehicle drivers and conductors. Members of the public are filing the complaints with the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, AOPT, the group of privately owned public service vehicle operators in Barbados. Our Anesta Henry has more on that story.
Members of the public have been filing daily complaints about the behavior of some public service vehicle drivers and conductors. Chairman of the Alliance Owners of Public Transport, Roy Raphael, says members of the public are reporting that PSV operators are not wearing their uniform, about some of them drinking and driving, playing loud music, and not staying on their designated routes. He says many of those breaking the rules are repeat offenders, and the complaints appear to be more this year than in recent years.
We have some routes in Barbados that we literally don't get no complaints from, and that one of those routes is like the Ivy, the Renaview Garden of Fords Road, right? Those are the routes that we will be very surprised if we got a complaint from any person, but routes such as ones in the north, we got a lot of complaints coming from the same route where the young lady got her hand, where the vehicle was turned over. We get a number of complaints from that particular route.
Management of schools have also filed complaints.
we get calls from schools where they say that this particular vehicle comes to school with the music ponging, and a lot of school children get on board. We go, we investigate it. Recently, one of the schools called us and told us that this particular van goes through their schoolyard to escape to the other end to avoid the traffic.
Mr. Raphael says the Alliance fully agrees with authorities that something truly has to be done to address the issue of PSV operators not complying with rules and regulations. He says an automatic ticketing system is one measure that could help resolve the vexing situation.
Where the operators reported immediately and taken to court within 7 days, because a lot of these cases in the court are backup cases, because obviously you have a police officer reporting someone and they don't be summoned not before the next 2.5 years. So even sometimes these people forget that they were reported.
Raphael says AOPT is also having some issues with drivers between ages 18 and 25. On that note, the chairman announced the alliance is looking to recruit PSV operators from outside of Barbados. He explains the move is necessary because there are 1,200 registered public service vehicles and only 300 to 400 drivers.
We need to recruit more drivers, so that when the operator decided that he doesn't want this particular driver, that he doesn't find himself working for somebody else. That is the problem that we have.
Mr. Raphael, who says AOPT is looking forward to the day when issues with PSV operators are left in the dust, also notes that there are times when PSV drivers and conductors complain about each other. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
Thanks, Anesta. The judicial system is being applauded for the work it has been doing to arrest the praedial larceny situation plaguing the agricultural sector. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, James Paul, says the law courts have been utilizing the praedial larceny law proclaimed in March 2023. He was speaking during a news conference to announce plans for the BAS Annual General Assembly, which will be held this Saturday at the Radisson Aquatica.
Praedial larceny continues to be a scourge. And I want to say, I have noticed this year, and I just want to compliment the judiciary in some cases, that there has been an attempt to deal with some of the perpetrators. However, we must not, and the public, I don't want to go with the impression thinking that the problems of praedial larceny are gone. They are still there. It seems to me that there is still a part of our population who seem to think that a farmer's produce is fair game for him.
Mr. Paul says a number of outstanding issues will be discussed at the General Assembly, including the need for government to establish a laboratory for livestock farmers.
It is very important because we have already made the statement that we cannot have a modern and developed poultry sector in this country if those poultry farmers do not have access to laboratory facilities. These laboratory facilities are essential if farmers are to diagnose correctly the problems that they are facing on the farms, and also to develop ways in which those problems that they are facing on the farms can actually be treated.
The Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados, or CTUSAB, says while it supports regional integration, the full free movement of labor must not be rushed. General Secretary of CTUSAB, Dennis De Pisa, says the Congress cautions that without proper monitoring, the policy could threaten Barbados' social and economic stability.
It is a bold step that has been taken by the governments of Barbados, Belize, St. Vincent and Dominica to open their borders to nationals from the respective countries to live and work. CTUSAB, however, questions the timing of this implementation by the government of Barbados and cautions against any unregulated process. It is our belief that if the process is not well managed, the result could be a threat to the social, economic, and political stability of the individual CARICOM member states.
Meantime, officials are asking government to explain where the jobs and housing will come from to support CARICOM nationals. They're also suggesting that voting rights should only apply after 5 years of residence to prevent destabilization of the political system.
Government must explain where the job opportunities in Barbados, where are they, currently exist to cater to an uptake in Caribbean nationals who are expected to reside here. There's no secret that many Barbadians are either unemployed or underemployed. It must also be explained where are the available houses to meet the housing needs of an expanded population.
Well, coming up, we'll tell you the fate of a St. Peter man on firearm charges. A St. Peter man has been remanded to Barbados Prison Service Dodds. He is 46-year-old Stephen Sinclair Applewaite of Burner Road, St. Peter. Applewaite was not required to plead to the indictable offences of possession of a firearm and 4 rounds of ammunition when he appeared before Chief Magistrate Ian Weeks in the District A Criminal Court. The matter was transferred to the Whole Town Magistrates Court, where he's expected to appear on November 17th. Barbados' firefighting capabilities have been strengthened with the opening of the new state-of-the-art emergency services complex, a milestone that officials say signals a new era for the Barbados Fire Service. Our Deandra Roberts was at the ceremony, and she files this report.
It was a day of pride and celebration as the Barbados Fire Service officially opened its new emergency services complex, a project years in the making. Adding to the occasion were performances by students from neighboring schools that brought energy and joy to the event. The Anhill School performed a song, You Made a Way, much to the delight of the large audience. As if that was not enough, the students of the Wilkie Comer batch brought color on stage in dance. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. But just before the feature address, the Irvin Wilson Primary School did this to bring the curtains down on the performances. In delivering remarks, Chief Fire Officer Earl Maynard spoke of plans to have a mental health sanctuary at the complex to help officers coping with trauma.
The mental, physical, and emotional well-being of our officers is paramount. It is for this reason that part of my dream is to establish a mental health sanctuary, if allowed, right here on this premises to the southwestern side of the facility. A quiet space where officers can find rest, reflection, and renewal.
He also hinted at a station to be built in St. Philip and an area in the north for simulation purposes.
I envision the creation of a dedicated practical firefighting and rescue ground, hopefully somewhere in the north of the island, a controlled environment where our officers can safely simulate real emergencies and refine their skills under realistic conditions. And as Barbados continue to grow, so too must our operational footprint. A new fire station in St. Philip remains one of our priorities, strategically positioned to improve response time to the rapidly developing eastern and southeastern districts.
Also addressing the event was Minister of Home Affairs and Information Wilfred Abrams. He commended the fire service for decades of dedication and service to the people of Barbados.
Every call, every fire, every emergency faced by the Barbados Fire Service or the Emergency Ambulance Service is a test of courage and skill. Yet through every challenge, they've emerged stronger, more disciplined, and more capable of protecting the people of this nation.
For the men and women of the Barbados Fire Service, The moment represented more than new walls. It is a renewed promise to protect, serve and lead with excellence. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Well, the Barbados Licensing Authority is assuring customers that it is working urgently to fix a system glitch that has resulted in the vehicle registration system being temporarily offline. This is impacting vehicle registration and inspections. Chief Licensing Officer Trika McCarthy-Brooms tells CBC News that efforts are underway to restore service quickly.
The Barbados Licensing Authority is working in collaboration with the Ministry of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology to fix the problem as quickly as possible. We understand the inconvenience to our customers and give you the assurance that this matter is being given utmost priority.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Time now for sports. Anne-Marie's here. Good night to you, Anne-Marie.
Good night, Tisha. And we begin with this story. Investigations are ongoing in an act of vandalism at the Whitehall playing field in St. Peter after a number of unidentified drivers were seen performing dangerous donuts on the playing surface, leaving the facility damaged and with restrictive use. In a CBC exclusive, I joined officials who are at the ground assessing the situation. Downright lawlessness, as this video making rounds on social media shows two miscreants doing donuts on the playing field at Whitehall St. Peter. On the night of October 19th, last Sunday night, when most Bajans were buckled down in their houses due to heavy rains, nearby residents were disturbed by the sound of loud engines revving and screeching tires shortly after 7:30 p.m. And this is the result. A churned up turf with deep tire marks throughout the field used by both the cricket and football clubs. The destruction was discovered early next morning by ground staff and club officials who described the scene as devastating. President of the Whitehall Football Academy, Simeon Alsop, says the damage is a major setback.
When these things happen, it affects not only us, but it affects the cricketers. It affects the people who come here exercise when the evenings come. Because as I said, the young people were not able to train. It stops. And then actually, if any time one of these young children go in that area and wring their foot, you know what I mean. They could break their feet, whatever the case may be. Cars need to stay off of the playing fields. Harsh reality is the field has a lot of easy access, and hopefully once it gets enclosing, we would be in a better position to operate.
And when Alsop says that goes on here, please note this is not the first time something like this has happened at that facility. It's managed by the National Sports Council, and Maintenance Officer Kerry Harewood says they're now examining ways to prevent future incidents.
What we are looking to do now is erect some poles, put up some chains to stop persons from easy access onto the playing area, along with, I would say, educating the public, knowing that at the end of the day, what they're doing here is not only affecting us, but affecting them. Because this now is stopping persons now from coming and having a fun activity on the playing field or exercising, whatever the case may be, hampering the sports that could happen or that will take place. You understand? So at the end of the day is education, probably see if we could put some things on social media, let them know, that it is not feasible what they're doing. They need to stop it.
Member of Parliament for the area, the Honourable Chad Blackman, also condemned the act, calling it a senseless and disrespectful attack on community property. The MP said he will be working with the National Sports Council and police to ensure measures are put in place to better secure the facility and prevent similar damage in the future.
This community and this particular ground is a ground which is a beacon of the North, a ground which has produced a number of our national footballers, and the Whitehall Football Club in particular continues to do very well. And for you to come and to leave where you were and to go and do donuts and reckless behavior and to destroy the ground, look at it, you can see. It therefore tells me, one, a lot of our young people, not all of them, but a lot of them don't care about law and order. And that is something that continues to be of concern to me. And we're going to have to do even more at the constituency level to roll out programs to help them to understand their responsibility as citizens of the country. But two, justice has to be served. So this certainly obviously now is a matter in which the police, of course, will be doing their investigations, because we have to send a very strong message that you can't do as you like and expect that there are no consequences to your actions. This, as I said, is a ground where a number of our national players come from. This is a beacon in the north of the country. And I want to say, as the Member of Parliament for St. James North, and also as a Barbadian, stop the foolishness.
Officials from the National Sports Council and the club are expected to begin restoration work in short order, which could take up to 3 to 4 weeks to return the facility to some sense of its previous condition.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Ride-hailing company Uber has officially launched here in Barbados. The app service is available only through the use of licensed taxi drivers in Barbados. Trevor Thorpe has more.
The regional head of Uber says the company continues to move people, goods and cities forward. Uber currently operates in 70 countries. 400 taxi drivers have signed on to the service in Barbados.
For example, increased earning opportunities and productivity. By connecting the taxi drivers with new audiences, like tourists or, Uber users from across the world, we create more opportunities to grow their income. And by using technology to create efficiency in matching, we increase their productivity so that they have more opportunities to earn. The second point I just mentioned, they have access to a global, trusted user base of 149 million users. And they really, really value the flexibility and independence that comes with this model.
The regional head says reimagining how the world moves is what Uber is about and gave details.
So Uber is a technology platform that connects a person who wants to go from point A to point B with a driver who's available to do that trip and who also values the flexibility and the opportunity to generate additional earnings. That moment where technology meets mobility, that is Uber. And this is our purpose, and I think our purpose really explains what we're all about. We reimagine the way the world moves for the better. And this idea started in 2010, where an idea that was tap a button, get a ride, became a reality.
She says safety is at the core of Uber, and Barbados was chosen for its development and place in the world scheme of things.
Barbados is a place known for its warmth, its hospitality, and its strong tourism industry. And we've been able to witness all of this firsthand. We couldn't have imagined a better place to start this journey into the Eastern Caribbean. So we want to make sure that all of our stakeholders, including drivers, associations, local businesses, really understand the value that Uber will bring to Barbados.
Training has started in Barbados for the Barbadians signed on to the Uber taxi service. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Well, Anne-Marie's back and she has some football news.
Yes, Tisha, Greens United has booked their ticket to the round of 16 of the Prime Minister's Cup football tournament after edging Silver Sands 2-1 last night in the final group stage match at Spikestown in St. Peter. Meantime, in the opening encounter, group winners Bredenshill United thrashed Eleanor United 4-1. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boyce reports.
Tonight's highlights from the Prime Minister's Cup are coming to you with the compliments of Powerade. Pause is power. And Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
It was the final night of the group stage in the Prime Minister's Cup, and fans travelled to the north of the island to take in the action. Opening match at Spikestown in St. Peter, Bredenshill in red versus Eleanor United. 10 minutes gone and Bredenshill were already on the score sheet. Own goal off Akio Lord. Midway through the first half, Eleanor United were level. Damar Stone arrives on the doorstep and slots it home 1-1 at half-time. But the second 45 told a different story. Corey Hoyt on 48 minutes. That's 2-1 in favour of Bredenshill. Skip ahead to the hour mark where Bredenshill established a 2-goal cushion. Ball drops to Jerron Otterson, back of the net, 3-1. Britain's Hill got the opportunity to make it 4 from the penalty spot when this happened. Foul in the box, spot kick awarded. Shane Laura then stepped up and made no mistake. Final score, Britain's Hill 4, Eleanor United 1. The main event now was a clash between Greens United and Silver Sands. This is the 23rd minute. Norrie Corbin breaks the deadlock, cross along the ground and finishes from close range, 1-0 to Greens. 38th minute, Silver Sands break down the left, ball played in behind into Shamari Greenwich Lewis, off the crossbar and in a peach to make it 1 each at half-time. But just 2 minutes into the second half, Greens got their noses out front again. What a header from Shane Hermas. 2-1 to Greens United is how it ended. And Mark Goodrich Boyce, CBC Sports.
The Prime Minister's Cup Goal of the Week, brought to you by Powerade. Pause is power. And by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Kickstart Rush stunned Paradise with 2 early goals in their final Group D match of the Prime Minister's Cup football competition played at Gall Hill in St. John. In the end, Kickstart held on for the 2-1 win thanks to goals from Jamarco Johnson and this man, Nicholas Best, with some individual magic, earning him the Goal of the Week accolade.
11 minutes on the clock now. Kickstart Rush in possession again. Nicholas Best decides to try his luck. Best by name and nature. 2-0 the score. Trouble in Paradise at half-time.
That's news. Thank you so much for viewing. Do enjoy the rest of your night.